Hey guys, hope you're having a fantastic day. I've been working on the volatility grid for a few weeks now, and I have a working version that I want to present in this video. As always, you can go to DekayHub.com and that's where you'll find all my projects. And you can see there's a new card for the crypto volatility grid and a brief write-up. And when you click dive in, that takes you to the volatility grid page. If you are a regular follower of the channel, I suggest you to bookmark this site DekayHub.com because that's where I'm going to launch all the tools or projects going forward. So again, to avoid phishing attacks, I recommend you to bookmark this. And volatility grid is hosted as a subdomain. As you can see, it's volatilityGrid.DekayHub.com. Same thing that we did with Ichimoku toolkit. So Ichimoku falls under Ichimoku.DekayHub.com. So that's how it's going to be going forward. So I have a beta version that is put together. Again, it doesn't have all the features that I intend to implement, but it has a set of features which are usable right now. So I wanted to just deploy it and make it accessible for everyone to use. So this is the home page. Again, it's just pretty basic. I just put together some features. And as you can see, it's currently in beta. And you have a link to the YouTube playlist where I'm going to post updates to this project. And as always, you need to log in to use the tool. So just hit let's go and enter my email address. Enter the passcode. And then you will be greeted with this interface. So this is the dashboard. I'll walk you through the dashboard in a while. So again, it's pretty minimalistic design. So all you see on the screen is the dashboard, so that depending on the size of the monitor, let's say you have a huge like 32-inch or 40-inch monitor, in your trade setup, you can just put it over there and you can see all the coins over there. And when you scroll to the top, you will see the settings layout. So let me walk you through the settings panel. So first you will see mode, which is an advanced layout. Again, this is a feature that I want to implement in the future, so you can skip for now. And if you go to the exchange tab, you will see that it's currently implemented for Bybit Spot. And these are the different markets that are available in Bybit Spot exchange. And you see a small number on the top right corner. So it indicates how many pairs are available for that particular market. So it just helps you understand, how many pairs are visible on the dashboard when you select a particular market. So these are the markets available. So you can select USDT or BTC and you will see the dashboard for that market right below. And if you go to time frames, here is where you can select the time frames and the threshold. So let me explain what it means. So these are the 7 time frames that are supported, starting with 5 minutes all the way till 1 day. And you can select or deselect a particular time frame if you want to add it to the list. And you also have a threshold. So let's say on the 5-minute time frame, you want to highlight any pair that exceeds a certain volatility, you can set it over here. And at any given time, you can have a maximum of 4 time frames on the dashboard. So you can see if I already have 4 time frames which are selected, so the other options are turned off. But if I turn one off, now you can go ahead and select another one. So at any given point, you can only select 4 time frames, and they're always sorted in the ascending order. So let me explain the threshold once again. So let's say on the 1 day, I have the threshold set to 20%, right? So you can see Candy USDT on the daily time frame is 21.6%. So you see it highlighted differently from the other pairs. So that is how threshold helps. So it helps you like highlight coins that exceed a certain volatility. Okay. And you can also change the grid size. So by default, it's excess, that is extra small. But let's say, you want to increase the size, you can toggle here. If you go to SM, it's slightly bigger, MD, and so on and so forth, LG and XL. So yeah, depending on the screen you have and your preference, you can set the grid size accordingly. All right. And finally, if you go to profile, this is where you see your profile, and it will be in the free, you see the email address, plan, and logout button. So everybody by default, because it's in beta phase right now, everybody will have the free role. And if you want to log out of the application, just hit log out and it takes you out of the app. So that's it. So let me log in again. The dashboard is refreshed every 1 minute, as we discussed in the previous video. Let me quickly explain how the volatility is calculated. So we take a window, and during that window, we take the highest price and the lowest price and identify the difference between them in percentage. So if you take dual USDT on the daily time frame, we see a 72% volatility. Let me show you how that looks. So time right now, it's 14:12. So if you go back to 14 September, 14:12, that is somewhere right here. Yes. And yeah, and if you go from here to here, you can see it's roughly 72%, right? So yeah, so we take the window, and it's a rolling window for accuracy. As again, I discussed these points in detail in the last video. So we take the rolling window for each time frame, and we take the highest price and the lowest price and use that to calculate the volatility. The dashboard is refreshed every 1 minute, and again, volatility is something that doesn't change often. So I think 1 minute strikes the right balance. It's real time enough to see, how frequently the values are changing. Sometimes I noticed after you log in, if you go to the settings tab and hit any button, it takes you right to the center of the page. So you have that sudden jump, and I couldn't figure out why that is the case. But if you happen to have that issue, just refresh the page, and that issue should be sorted out. I'll fix this bug in the upcoming versions. But for now, if you notice that issue, just refresh the page, and that should be sorted out. So that's it for the video. So I wanted to quickly show you how to use the dashboard. Leave your feedback and any inputs in the design, or if you have any suggestions in the layout, I'll take the feedback and implement them in the upcoming versions. Now I want to talk about some features that I want to add in the upcoming versions. So first thing I want to add is a feature to create your own bins. So what I mean by that, so if you go to the mode, you see a toggle for advanced layout. So I see two types of people using the dashboard. Type 1 who just want a rudimentary interface. They just like to go to the exchange, select the markets, and be able to toggle between different markets and see how the volatility looks like, right? That is what some people might want. But there can be a few advanced users who want to create their own bin, as in create their own set of pairs, and then sort them in the order that they want, and be able to toggle between different bins so that they can see different layouts, access the layouts quite easily. So I want to add that advanced feature. That's what I meant by advanced layout. So when I want to implement a feature where when you toggle advanced layout, you have an option to create bins, and where you have very granular control. You can select your exchanges and select your pairs, sort them in the order that you want, select the time frames, and then be able to create multiple bins so that you can have more control on how the dashboard looks. All right. That's the main feature I want to add. And if you go to time frames, you might see that the time frames below the 1 hour are highlighted as Pro. So I want to move these to the Pro version because time frames under 1 hour require more calculation and are updated more frequently. So because of that, I feel, I want to move them to the Pro version. But during the beta phase, all the time frames are available for free to use. Next, I want to add some headers to these tables so that you can tell which time frame the volatility belongs to. So right now, if you look at like 0.2 or 2% or 3.2%, you can't really tell which time frame the volatility belongs to. So I just like to add some headers so the dashboard is more readable. Next, I want to make it a bit snappy. So right now, if you scroll up, that opens up the setting panel, but I want the scroll to be sticky. So when I just scroll a little, I want to fill the dashboard, throughout the UI. And if I hard scroll it, only then the setting panel should open. So that makes it, easy for you to navigate. So you don't have to fiddle with the scroll bar to get the, to make the dashboard precisely fit the layout. So it just makes it easy for you to, navigate. Next, again, this could be slightly technical, but I want to emphasize on the point that I want to keep things as anonymous as possible and not track any activity that is happening on the site. So I want to take privacy seriously. Again, I'm not an expert on privacy, but to the extent possible, I want to keep things anonymous. So if you go to developer console and under application, under IndexDB, I've used Dekay.js in the project, and Dekay.js, again, I'm getting a little technical, but Dekay.js allows you to create a local database in the browser on IndexDB, and you can access it to persist data. So I'm using the IndexDB to the extent possible so that the server doesn't track or store anything. So I want to keep things anonymous to the extent possible is what I'm saying. That's about it. That is all I wanted to cover in this video. As always, leave your suggestions and feedback in the comment section. And the features that I talked about will be available very soon. And I also want to add more exchanges. Once I'm done implementing all the features I want, then I'm going to go ahead and onboard more exchanges. And I'm also building the tools, the modules in a way that allows you to rapidly accommodate more exchanges. So First, I want to finish off building all the feature sets, and then I'll onboard more exchanges, which is easier to do once all the features are implemented.